So I have found myself splitting my life into more than one part, and most of that involves keeping certain relationships separated from each other. I have a lot of new people in my life, and then I have a few people left over from other parts of my life that were maybe not so great. And some of the relationships from the parts of my life that weren't so great sometimes are not the healthiest of relationships. But because we were there for each other in really hard times, or maybe there's like a sense of nostalgia, or for instance, as far as family goes, they're the only ones I have left, you kind of just hold on to people in life, even if you can recognize logically that maybe not everything about that relationship dynamic is the healthy. And as you start to get relationships with new people who are having a way more positive dynamic in your life and the relationship is much more healthy, at least for me, it has been helpful to not integrate those two types of people together. And that doesn't mean that I think any of them are bad or unworthy. It just means I don't want how positive the new relationships and healthy the new relationships are to be diminished or intermingled by the relationships that are less healthy. And I also don't want the relationships that are less healthy not only just not to influence the more positive relationships, but also to lose me those relationships, quite frankly. I have had some experiences, unfortunately, where I introduced people who've been a part of my life for a long time to new people who've been a part of my life for a short time. And the people who were a part of my life for a long time did not behave in the most polite or supportive ways. And I don't think necessarily it's because they're trying to be bad. That's the biggest thing, is I don't think that they're intentionally trying to sabotage my life or anything like that. I just think that they just genuinely don't know any better, have never really learned any better. It's not black and white. People are very unique. That's why I really have a struggle with things like romantic comedies and, goodness, even a lot of anime. There's this story that we tell a lot in Western culture of a romantic relationship is the most important relationship there can possibly be, and all other relationships are secondary to it because this one person is now everything. They are the co-parent. They are the love of your life. They are the best intercourse you ever had. They are your best friend. They are your, everything. They have to fill all these different roles and put on all these different hats. It used to be it took a village. It used to be we were in communities and tribes and clans with each other. It wasn't all on one person to be our everything. But we have more and more and more pushed this idea that this one person has to fill every role. And if they don't, it's red flags. I don't agree with that. Different people bring different dynamics. And that's okay. If someday, say, you end up in a romantic relationship with someone that is your someone, and there isn't any longer any friendships or any relationships that you already had, and I think it's okay for them to also have other relationships and friendships that they already had. If you guys have mutual friends, awesome. That's amazing. If you guys can bring some of your friendships into becoming mutual friendships, that's awesome. That's amazing. But it is okay for them to have a few people who are just their people, and you to have a few people who are just your people, and you guys not get possessive over each other, and accept that it takes a village, not just to raise a child, but it takes a village for us to all have as many resources and as much support and care as we need in life. If you put all your emotional needs on one person, that person is going to be burnt out, especially because they're trying to get you to help with all of their emotional needs. And neither of you gets emotional needs filled from anyone else any of the time. You're going to be like not in the healthiest place. And there are a few people in the world who can handle the whole 24/7 with each other thing, and that's fine. Even that, I can't imagine how you can only have that just one person. That doesn't mean don't be in love with that person. That doesn't mean, oh, that person's not the most important, the priority person. I'm just saying, man, we need multiple peoples. And so I don't think it's the end of the world that even though I'm developing these new relationships, that I don't drop everybody else. I don't just cut them off. I see a lot of people say, oh, just cut people off. And I wonder, how much are you throwing away sometimes? If someone's been abusive, sure, cut them off. But if someone's just maybe not the best, but they're not the worst, maybe turn them into an acquaintance. But why cut them off entirely if you guys have helped each other before, if you've been there for each other before, you know that they're trustworthy. You know, maybe you guys don't always get along in every way, but they're reliable, or you're reliable to them too. But why cut them off? Not everything is like in the movie, and definitely not everything is black and white. Sometimes people are going to let you down, and sometimes people are going to disrespect you. Sometimes not everything's going to go your way. But that's sometimes. Sometimes they're also going to be the one person cheering you on. Sometimes they're going to be the person who showed up. Different people have different capacities on different days. And that's why we need people, not just one person.